Hi, welcome to Love Saranghae with Peter and Andrea. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take you on a journey into the exciting world of entrepreneurship, relationships, and the secrets behind achieving that coveted glow. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. Today, we're diving into one of K-beauty's most viral and possibly misunderstood trends, the glass skin glow up.
Yes, the glass skin glow up.
Would love to have the glass skin glow up. But here's the twist. We're not shopping for a single new product today. Nope. We're using what you already own to get that dewy, hydrated, lit from within look. Hopefully, unless you're using really bad products, then I might suggest otherwise. So grab your toner, your favorite serum, and let's glow smarter, not harder, together. You ready, Peter?
Pretty good. It's a good intro. You've got some rhyming words in there. You've got a little play on words. I like that. Very clever. Okay, let's go. All right. So first question. Start with the very basics. What is the Korean glass skin, and where does this concept come from? Andrea.
Okay, well, glass skin is a popular term in Korean skincare K-beauty that refers to the complexion. So smooth, clear, and luminous, that resembles glass.
And white.
If you will.
And white. Let's not forget the word like pale, dewy white. Yeah.
That's right. It's not about makeup or temporary glow. So this is not about achieving glass skin through the effect of makeup. It's about achieving naturally healthy, hydrated, and quote-unquote flawless skin texture over time. Although I'd hate the word flawless because skin is, in its natural state, somewhat flawed. But glass skin is essentially rooted in skin health, not just aesthetics, as I said earlier. So it reflects the K-beauty philosophy that skin should be nourished, respected, and treated gently, not stripped or aggressively corrected. So think of actives, like harsh actives, like retinol. So I guess I'll talk about some characteristics of glass skin, and then we can go on to how to achieve it and all the good stuff. But some things you might notice in someone who might be considered wanting to have glass skin is it's very, very hydrated. So the skin looks dewy and plump and supple. Yes, that's the best way I can describe it. Like if you push your finger, the skin bounces back as opposed to sort of staying there for a moment or two. Another way to describe glass skin is poreless. So, or at least the appearance of very refined, small pores. And then the next one would be smooth texture. So there's no bumps, flakiness, or rough patches. It's an even tone, no visible redness, discoloration, or dark spot. And then finally, there's like this translucent glow. So the skin really reflects light in a soft and radiant way. So I would say those are the common characteristics of someone who has, quote unquote, glass skin. But the question people often ask me is, can you really achieve that glass skin? Number one, is that really possible? And number two, can you do it without spending a fortune on your skincare products? So what do you think, Peter?
Absolutely you can. Absolutely. We wouldn't be here speaking about this otherwise, right? Right? Absolutely
is
you
true.
can. Yeah. So you want to get started on that?
Well, I think it's managing expectations as well. I think with today's world of filters and AI and all of that, I think that you have to manage your expectations.
Yeah.
I do think that glowing, plump, dewy, hydrated skin is possible, but I think it's more of a technique and consistency as opposed to 20 steps.
So it is. It's true in all those forms. Let me lay out some of the foundation of glass skin. So because I'm Korean and I kind of grew up with this phenomenon.
Yeah.
Glass skin existed before social media. So women in Korea had this look of glassy, reflective, very porcelain type of white skin. And that's been the beauty standard for a long, long time in Korea, right?
Yeah.
In fact,
in Asia, I would say everywhere.
In Asia,
Japan,
yeah.
it's the same.
Yeah, you're right. Japan and Korea kind of set the overall beauty standard for most of Asia, but it goes back thousands of years, right? So they used to put like these whitening powders to make their skin look a little bit more white.
Yes, I remember that.
Now, having said that, because Koreans, before the onset of social media and world travel, Koreans would look at other Koreans and Asians would look at Koreans, and we're all Asian skin types. We didn't have to deal with a lot of differing types of skin types, right? So everyone, we just remember that the Korean skin type and the culture, or that East Asian skin look and the thickness, etc., kind of over the years morphed itself into the glass skin, because that was what the skin would like to do, as opposed to like Nordic skin or African American skin, right? So there's always different beauty standards, wherever you go in different types of the world. So if you like to suntan, let's say in California, you want the glassy skin, that's not going to happen, because the definition of glass skin is porcelain white. So if you tan a lot, and that's the culture you come from, like surfing, etc., you're going to have to look at different ways of doing skincare, because you're not going to get the glass skin.
You can still have beautiful skin.
Yes.
But it won't be
the Korean glassy skin.
Korean glass skin.
Right?
Exactly.
So
it'll be different.
Yeah. Having said all that, the way to get glassy skin is very simple. It's actually three just kind of major pillars. Well, you follow our 5 pillars of skincare routine, which is you cleanse. Always have to cleanse.
Double cleanse.
Right? You exfoliate, because exfoliation is really a part of extension of cleansing. Then you correct. Now, if you're younger, you don't need to correct, right? So if you start from skincare from when you're like 18 years old, correction is not even a concern.
Don't do it. If you are between the ages, I would even say 18 to 30.
There's no need for a correction.
There's absolutely no need for you to be using vitamin C, retinol. Don't do it. Don't ruin the skin.
So just so people understand, before the last 5 years, I guess, retinol was unheard of in Korea.
Yeah.
Koreans did not know what retinol was. Unless you were really into like skincare and you were doing research around the world, you did not know what retinol was. In fact, most of the ingredients that skincare ingredients that Koreans used, as far back as only 10 years ago, was basically based on plants. So mushrooms, lotus leaves, Hella asiatica, bamboo, ginseng, right? Yeah. They might have compounds within them that have some of these effects, but retinol itself, which is here in North America, was invented in 1924. In Korea, it wasn't even a thing. Vitamin C was coming popularity because vitamin C itself is really just an antioxidant, and it comes from a fruit and other sources. But retinol for sure, and tetranoin and some of the other very harsh versions of retinoic acid was not a thing. Pillar 4 is skin healing, and then pillar 5 is sealing, moisturizing, which also includes SPF, which is very protection, which is very important. The end result of glassy skin is this. If you cleanse your skin really, really well, because your skin builds up, it's a filter, right? It builds up impurities over time. And if you don't cleanse, it builds up on top of each other. And if you don't exfoliate away your dead skin, so that whole idea of ashen skin, we get that a lot. Why does my skin look gray? Why does it look ashen? It's because dull. It's because when you have a layer of dead skin and impurities build up over time, even if they're microscopic, light doesn't reflect as well off your skin. And so it absorbs like black, like a grayish, like a darker color. And so it looks ashen. So those two alone, right off the bat, will help you. Now, you just do only those two, your skin will become stressed. So then you have to have the anti-inflammatory step, which is a skin healing, like snail mucin. There's a reason why snail mucin has been the number 1 skincare ingredient in Korea for the last 25 years. It's extremely versatile, it heals your skin, and it moisturizes at the same time. And then you seal it with a cream.
But also, the snail mucin, 1 more minute for that beautiful product. The snail mucin is also packed with antioxidants. Yeah. Like natural antioxidants that you can't replicate in science. It's just nature. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really a powerful product. Even with my daughter, who's 3, because our snail mucin is so clean, I will put it on her. If she has cut herself or paper cut or something, I would put it on at night, and in the morning it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's a really powerful product that's really also gentle and
it is.
diffuses the skin in such a beautiful way.
Now, you might want to just stop there, but you shouldn't, because all serums in water-based form, they will evaporate over time. And so what you want to do is you want to seal that with the cream. And the cream will basically moisturize, seal, and protect. It keeps the good stuff into your skin, and it keeps the bad stuff out. And then the very final step is sunscreen. And the sunscreen, is extremely important for glassy skin. Why? Because porcelain-like glossy skin depends on the fact that you don't suntan. Right?
I'm sorry to say that out loud.
I mean,
that's true.
So let's my audience right now, think back to the last time you saw a Korean woman or an Asian woman suntanning, going to a tanning bed. Unless you're North American, which
but
you see a
even
lot.
sitting out in the sun,
Sitting on the sun
beach.
without a sombrero or an umbrella. Now,
wide brimmed hat.
Go back to your memory. How many Asian people do you remember seeing with massive sombreros or parasols or make these massive hats? And you're like, oh, why is she wearing that? And it's kind of ridiculous looking. Well, that's why. Because they avoid the sun at all times. Now, I know I'm not going to ask you guys to go wear a 10-foot parasol every single day. And that is why I ask you to wear your sunscreen. It's imperative that you wear your sunscreen if you want that type of skin, if you want skin health over long term. It is the single most effective tool, sunscreen or covering yourself from the sun, from future skin aging and future hyperpigmentation and degradation of your skin. The single most effective tool. Nothing else compares.
Yep. Okay, so what products should someone already have to start this routine? Assuming they don't have a budget for new things, they're opening up the cupboard and they're saying, okay, I want this glass skin. Mm-hmm. What do I need to do to achieve that?
Well, the very first thing you should have is a decent cleanser. And I'm sure most of you already have one, okay? I do always say have a double cleanser to cleanse away your sebum. But if you exfoliate well enough, you can get away with it. So a good cleanser. I really hope you don't use body soap. Okay.
Hand soap.
Anybody who's tried washing their face with hand soap or body soap, what's the reaction? What happens right after?
Well, I'll tell you because I used to do that. I can't believe I'm saying this on air, but I used to wash my face with body soap and hand soap, whatever was there. And my face was so dry.
Dry, yes.
So dry. It felt like even if I opened my mouth, it would crack.
What happens when your face is dry?
It cracks.
And your face starts to produce more sebum.
Oh, that's right.
Because when your face is that dry, it's under stress. It doesn't like it, right? So it says, oh, I got to get back to equilibrium. I got to get back to healthy state.
That's right.
So it produces sebum. And if you're younger, it overproduces sebum. And then if you don't,
have acne.
yeah. And then if you don't cleanse away, it gets clogged in your pores. So
That's
a
right.
good cleanser, preferably oil foam cleanser. And then you can actually just exfoliate with a very light facial brush. We provide that with our cleanser, but you can go out there for $5 to $10 and lightly exfoliate maybe 3 times a week. If you have really oily skin, or if you have skin that's prone to getting clogged, then an AHA, BHA exfoliant might be worthwhile. It's harsh, so it's not something that a sensitive skin or a dry skin or normal skin would do. But if it's really, really acneic or oily, that might be something you want to take a look at. Correctives? You don't need correctives for glassy skin. You just have to go straight to a serum, a healing serum. Snail mucin is our number one. You can also use our Deep Radiance, which is our mushroom serum. Works really well as well. And even our oral bioactive collagen serum. That one absorbs really fast, and it's really good for summer days. But some sort of serum that your skin can absorb and keep that moisture. And then a cream on top to seal. That moisture will last all day and all night.
Don't skip your moisturizer, guys. It's so important.
So that it doesn't dry out over time. Because when you're sleeping, you go to bed at 10, get up at 6, let's say, or 7, it's 8 hours. If you don't seal the moisturization in, somewhere along that 8-hour sleeping timeline, your face will lose moisture and it'll dry. It'll dry out. We don't want that, right? And then daytime sunscreen. That's it. That's really all you need.
So just to say that again, you don't need actives to achieve glass skin.
That's right. You don't need actives.
In Asia, actives are a new thing. It's only been around maybe 5 to 10 years. And often people are using the actives incorrectly, which is actually damaging the skin barrier and causing other issues. So I'd really look at that part of the routine, and I would even test out taking it out to see what happens. Do an experiment for a week or 2 weeks and remove all your actives and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some common mistakes that people make when trying to get glass skin. Things like over-exfoliating, using harsh scrubs. Another one that I think is important to note is like not giving products time to absorb.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
that's a big one. A lot of people just, you're in a hurry, so you're just slapping them on one after the other. But even if you just waited 10 to 20 seconds between each step, not including the cleanser, you don't have to do that. But for example, with the toner and the serums and the moisturizers, even the actives, if you are using active, just wait a few seconds, give it time to absorb, and actually be effective.
Yeah, so we always say damp, not wet.
Yeah.
What you should be feeling is when you slightly touch your face with the pinky like this after a serum, for a layer, it should have a little tackiness, and it should feel soft, but it shouldn't feel wet at all. That's the right point when you should add the next layer, right?
Yeah.
If it's too wet, what ends up happening is all your ingredients are mixing together and kind of defeats the purpose of layering. You want to be able to absorb, then add, absorb, then add, absorb, then add. Now, going back to the exfoliation point that Andrea was making, please do not use, I say this because I used to do this myself, and it was a horrible mistake. You know those coffee scrubs, those physical coffee scrubs with beads? Don't use them on your face, please.
Yes.
Do not use them on your face. It will scratch the heck out of your face. They're not meant for your face. I did that, and it scratched me. And it scratched me. Yeah, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't good. So don't do that.
Well, for me, what happened is I broke it out into red hives, mainly around like my jaw area. And it was so itchy and burning, and it was so uncomfortable. So I learned my lesson that way. But okay, another thing that people typically do that I would avoid if you're trying to achieve the glass skin look is they skip the moisturizer because they have oily skin, and or because they're going to put SPF, so they think they don't need the moisturizer. And this is something really easy that you guys can just start doing. Never skip your moisturizer. I don't care if you have oily skin. It's so important in terms of managing the sebum production, the amount of oil that your skin produces. Don't skip your moisturizer.
Yeah.
Okay, you can use a different moisturizer. So maybe in our case, you wouldn't use the Firm and Lift if you had oily skin. You'd use the Aurora Bioactive Collagen Cream instead because it's lighter, it absorbs more easily. But don't skip the moisturizer.
Yeah,
it's
don't
very
skip.
important.
Very important, absolutely. But on the flip side, all moisturizers that we offer and most other brands will offer, hopefully, are non-comedogenic, which means they're non-acneic or non-pore clogging. So that means you need to avoid things like slugging. That was a trend, I think, a couple of years ago, which was using Vaseline to all over your face before nighttime. First of all, that's hell on your bed sheets. You're going to have to somehow wash that off. But petroleum jelly, which is Vaseline, is comedogenic. It will not let your skin breathe, and it will completely clog your pores. Anybody who's done this for a long period of time, who tend to get clogged pores, will understand. They would have broken out in acne all over the place and all the time. Avoid using petroleum jelly or any of the stuff that's not meant for your face long term. You could do it maybe once or twice, and it probably wouldn't do much. But over time, it will clog your face completely, and that's not good.
As Peter said earlier, I think in this episode, he mentioned that the skin absorbs external and it extracts things that are internal. So if you're putting something on that's really clogging the pores,
that's right.
like Vaseline, for example, your skin can't get rid of toxins. It can't expel things that it doesn't want. Yeah. And it can't absorb anything that it does want. So you're completely blocking that.
Well, think about how it works. Look, why slugging was a thing. So the reason why people started putting Vaseline on their face at night was that in the morning, it would feel really hydrated and moisturized. Why was that? Because the petroleum jelly did not allow your skin to breathe. The moisture could not evaporate. So it was locked in. But everything gets locked in, not just the moisture, your toxins, your environmental stressors, your dead skin, everything gets locked in, right? And then they clog. So that's the problem.
And then I'm going to just move on here. The last thing that we see that people typically do that I would say is a mistake, a common mistake, is that they ignore the lifestyle factors, like how much water are you drinking? How much sleep are you getting? What quality of sleep are you getting? How stressed out are you? Do you use clean towels? Are you washing your pillowcases regularly? What are you eating? All of those things also play a factor in the glass skin effect. And it's actually a really important part. So you could do all the right things externally, but if you're not taking care of your internal well-being, it's just not going to work. That's not going to happen. So that's a very important part and something to really pay attention to if that is your goal of glass skin.
Yeah. A pillow is a good one.
Pillowcases and towels, I find that people sort of forget. We used to wash our pillowcases once a week. Now we do it twice a week. And the towels, face towels, I'm changing them every 2 or 3 days at the most.
Yeah.
Some people say you should change them every day. So it just depends on what you can get behind.
Yeah.
But definitely more often the better. And also, what detergent are you using to wash your pillowcases and your towels? So if it's harsh, it's going to create problems on the skin, irritation, redness.
If I can give a really real life example, back when I was younger, I used to play football. I was a linebacker in high school and university, and we used to have a cloth chin strap. And the first couple of weeks was fine, but inevitably, because nobody washed the chin strap, and it was made out of cotton. And what would inevitably happen is the sweat would build up, and by the end of the year, my jaw and the area where the chin strap would be riddled with acne, riddled. And we had no idea what was going on. It was because the bacteria would build in the chin strap. Nobody washed it. We didn't wash it. And then we would reapply to the skin, and then my sweat would go in and would reactivate the bacteria and go into my skin.
That's disgusting.
So your pillowcase, your sheets, that is a very distant example, but it's very similar. Basically, unclean, bacterial-filled cloth up against the skin will not be good for your skin. So that's my story.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we tell if we're making progress towards achieving glass skin? How do we know that we're on the right track and we should keep going?
Well, you'll know visually and by feel. It's hard to miss, but your skin will feel more bouncy and more hydrated. It won't feel tight or dry. It won't have any flakiness. Complexion will look even throughout. There'll be no blotches and naturally luminous. Makeup, apparently, my wife said, will apply effortlessly, glide on. No.
But you need less of it. I think that's the best and biggest thing, is that for me, I don't wear anything on my skin except blush. And it wasn't always like that, but the better my skin is, the more I take care of my skin, the less I need on my face. I'm not hiding anything. My skin is naturally the way I want it to be. So, but if you do wear makeup, foundation, or powder, or cover-up, it'll look smoother, it'll go on more easily, and it'll blend better into your skin.
Yeah. The one thing I want to mention is that hyperpigmentation is a process that happens when your melanin gets overproduced in different patches. Nobody knows why it happens. It's very genetic, and people want to get rid of it, right? Yeah. So practicing a good skincare routine like this without actives will not eliminate, obviously, your existing hyperpigmentation because the melanin is already there. But what it will do is because your skin is now healthier and not under stress, it will definitely stop the skin from producing more hyperpigmentation than it normally would. A good, healthy skincare routine will actually prevent these type of skin variations just because your skin is not under stress. So just remember that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
The other thing you'll notice if whether or not you're getting closer to your goal of glass skin is that you'll have fewer breakouts and your skin will be less sensitive over time. So it'll be able to withstand weather, it'll be able to withstand things that it wasn't previously able to do. And most importantly, like we said earlier, is you'll feel more confident. Like you'll notice. People will notice that your skin looks different. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of our customers, that's the first thing they tell me when they're sharing. It's other people noticed. Like, what are you doing with your skin?
Yeah.
Like, especially people they don't see all the time. It becomes noticeable to others, and then that gives you a little bit of confidence too and motivation to keep going.
Absolutely. Okay.
You want to add anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay, and that's a wrap on a glass skin glow up without hopefully spending too many dimes. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about intention. When you commit to caring for your skin with consistency and love, the glow comes naturally. That's it for us today. Until next time, take care of the skin, and it promises to take care of you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. Your ratings and reviews help more people like you find our show. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this podcast with someone you think would love it. Until next time, love yourself, love one another, and love the world.